this live. Do a little reading for y'all. Cards out here. Oh yeah, that was the story. I was gonna tell you guys a little story, and I was like, I started setting up the camera, and then I'm like, what was that story I was gonna tell? Anyway, I just before I was getting ready to go live, I was reminded of a time when I was in college. Okay, and the today is because I was eating my watermelon that is a black diamond watermelon. And then I was like, oh yeah, they have those black diamond ski hills, right? Or a double diamond, green diamond. But yeah, there's different skill levels, right? Well, one of the first times I ever went like skiing anywhere, um, it was with this church group, like a youth kind of like it was in college. So anyway, and we had to pay to go and whatever. Anyway, so we get there and some of us that have never skied before, we were like just kind of following the lead of the others, right? And we get on the lift and then we're on this hill and it's like this is a pretty high hill. And me and my roommate at the time, I don't know that she had ever skied before either. We live in the Midwest. Like, there's fields. I like the town I'm at right now is at sea level. Okay. So, picture this, Sicily, 18 whatever, right? Okay, you're getting the drift. So, and it was like a rainy, snowy day. It was not great weather. I will add that as well. So the conditions probably, were not the best. So sure enough, me and, some of the other experienced ones, especially the guys, are like, well, this is just, that's easy. It's like, okay. And it's like, well, we're up here. There's only one way to get down, right? So we both go down. We both take tumbles on our way down. Fortunately for me, it was just more bruised ego. Unfortunately for my roommate, she busted her knee. Like she had to have surgery after. And that wasn't until we got back from the ski trip. Honestly, they probably should have airlifted her fucking ass out of there to a hospital. If you want to know the truth. Now, looking at that now, considering like we were at like a little resort thing, like there should have been somebody that took her like more immediately to get that. I don't know. Anyway, she ended up having to have surgery and like hobble around on crutches in college. Okay, so y'all know when you go to a college campus how you have to walk between buildings and from the buildings to your dorm, and maybe your dorm's not on campus, maybe your house is a little off campus. Yeah, that was not very pleasant for her. And, part of the reason I'm telling you this story is because, you know, I was reminded of the person who had already been there before, who wasn't us. And we were following them. And this was a church group of folks who you think these people don't want to do you any harm. They wouldn't put you in any danger. They wouldn't put you at any risk. However, yes, they did. I could have broken my fucking neck, and she literally did bust her knee that she had to have fucking surgery. Like the same kind of surgery that the football players get. And I know because I dated one that had to have that done. He was actually a very good football player. Like he probably could have gotten a scholarship and stuff if he didn't tear his knee up. Anyway, I'm just saying. So my point is, just because somebody else is saying it's easy, don't think you have to jump through their hoop to prove who you are. You know what? So what? Me and her were not great skiers, but guess what? I still, had a scholarship to that college. Did that guy? I don't fucking know. I don't fucking care. I think he's a prick asshole. What do you think about that? Somebody a little more considerate, somebody a little more caring about the human condition might have said, have you guys ever skied before? Maybe you want to try, or did you even be up here? Oh no, it's just that snickering, then that snide little look and looking down. Well, of course, these are church people. Well, but they were the Baptists, and you know how those Baptists are. They think they're just better than everybody because they're so holy. Holy this, bitch. Let's get into this reading. Seven of Swords, yeah, sneak attack. Sometimes people will put you up to shit, trying to get you to prove yourself. And what happens? Who gets hurt? Do not listen to these people. Use your own head on your own fucking shoulders, because those people have agendas. And trust me, that agenda does not necessarily match what's good for you. Okay? So that's my little opening lecture for this reading. I am dead fucking serious. Let me tell you, I saw that motherfucker in the grocery store a few months ago, and man, I wanted to see some choice words to him. He was with his wife and grown adult child. Now, this is what I'm saying. This is how many years ago it was. But still at the time, somebody who proclaimed to be so intelligent and so smart and blah, 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 yet he put both me and her lives in danger that day. But, he was one of those ones that liked to argue, and he would always pick on me about being Catholic and what's the deal with Mary? And it's like, you know what? Fuck you. So, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, he already didn't really like my religious views. But this is a church group, so yeah. Maybe he didn't care what happened to those dumb Catholic bitches that just had to go down the fucking hill, huh? Huh? True story. Can't make it up if I tried. I remember, and also, unfortunately, I knew his wife because we lived, this was at college, and she happened to live in my dormitory. And I remember before she got with him or something, or she was just starting to date him, and she was telling me how she had this other boyfriend, and then she said something about not using a man to fill the hole where Jesus should be. Well, it wasn't but maybe a month later that he was filling that hole. You know what I'm saying? So, again, some people preach it out, but do they really, hey, and maybe for them, that was a match made in heaven. I don't know. I'm not in their lives. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, moving on. You know what I mean? I thought, man, I'm glad I didn't end up with a son of a bitch like that having to prove my fucking ass to him every fucking day of my life. God damn, what a fucking bore. A bore and a chore. Yeah. Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups is caring, likes to be cozy, right? Likes to be able to show emotion and affection, right? But hey, turn on her and she might have to get angry with you. Right? And you know what? At the end of the day, she's still going to be just sipping her tea. Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. Right? We'll have Scorpio after Libra, after Virgo, which we are currently in, right? I think there was something with the and the moon recently. I hope you guys saw that full moon, that kind of harvest moon. It was so orange. The other day, it was very cool looking. Four of Wands. Yeah, create your happy ending. Somebody else's happy ending for you might be shoving you down a rather large ski hill with no experience. You may think, I would choose something else for myself, right? So here's the thing. If you don't speak up, somebody's going to make that choice for you, and you might not be happy with the result, folks. You might not be happy with the result, folks. God gave you a voice. Use it. God gave you a voice, use it. Okay? Just because so-and-so and so-and-so and their fucking church thinks you're going to assimilate, fuck you. Right? I don't think so. I don't think so. These people think they can, and it's like it's a very weird mentality. Very weird mentality. It's like trying to play God is how I kind of would characterize some of those types of karmic behaviors. Yeah. Um, because especially people that maybe they're very privileged people. Maybe, yeah, oh yeah, we can fly here and we can buy this condo here and blah blah blah. They think they can move people that way. And then they come to find out, oh, people have souls and individual thoughts and feelings that was given by God, right? So, who do these people think they're fooling? Yeah, nine of wands. It's like they might have stepped up to the plate to battle. They didn't realize they were getting like some superhero character over here. That's like, oh, this is just another day over here at the ranch. Oh, I'm sorry. Did it drop below 40 degrees where you are? Oh, I know. It's so rough. Okay, that kind of thing. Oh, I mean, I mean, it has snowed on Halloween before, folks, where I live. So, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Some people need to pull up their britches and understand, right? That not everybody lives this kind of image of a cushy whirlwind. Some people are doing this because, you know, she did other things all day. You understand what I'm saying? Because this was the daytime. This is like day to night Barbie right here. Yes, exactly. Battle by day, sipping tea by night. Okay? Getting the job done during the day, watching our favorite Netflix series or whatever streaming platform at night. Maybe even reading a book or listening to an audio version of a book. I prefer those myself now that I'm out of the age of having to read for college. That turned me off of reading for a while. Four of Pentacles. So there could be some feeling of lack here now that the full moon may have exposed some things where collective you may see more clearly the direction you want to go versus the constant battle that somebody else had you in. Meanwhile, they were benefiting. And now they're realizing they can't benefit off of you like that anymore. Okay. This person could have tried to pull at your heartstrings as well and wanted to have this vision of the happy family, but like it never came to fruition. That doesn't mean you don't deserve this. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm talking about with the skiing thing. If me and her had been taught the fucking basics, maybe we wouldn't have fallen down the goddamn hill. But no, 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 no. That would have been too easy. No, we just want to throw you into the fire and then ha 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 ha. Like little children. Like little fucking children. Who's sorry now? Who's sorry now? By the way, the 100% free way to support the channel is by liking the video. Remember, you do not have to be a subscriber in order to like the video. And as a reminder, all content technically right now, because this is my main platform, is free on this YouTube channel, okay? The only way that you're being charged on this YouTube channel is if you have an ad version of YouTube where you have to sit and watch through ads, which I don't even have the subscriber account to monetize off that. So my apologies if YouTube is screwing you over on that. I have no control over that because my subscriber account is not at the monetization level. Okay. So again, the 100% free way to support the channel and these readings is by liking the video or consider subscribing. All right. Queen of Pentacles. Yeah. Yeah, Virgo, her. So, and we are in Virgo season right now. So somebody might want to talk to you about your finances because they're seeing that you're successful. This kind of reminds me of when sometimes I'm out and about, and y'all might run into this too, but some people, they'll be like, how do you do it? How do you do it? It's like if I had a dime for every time somebody said, how do you do it? I'd be a fucking millionaire. You know what I mean? I've even been asked that in interviews before where I didn't get the position. And it's like, if you're asking me, how do I do it? Yet you don't want to, okay, whatever. Anyway, so collective, you might be a self-starter. You might not be somebody who needs permission for somebody else to talk like, oh, hey, I got this idea. You don't need that. You don't need that. You're like, well, I had this idea and then I took my coin and then I went and bought the material and I made this dress. Doesn't it look nice? Ta-da! Okay. Yeah, maybe you're a fashionista. You could be a thrifty fashionista as well. Okay, Four of Swords. And also in the manner of, like repurposing things. Like, did you have y'all ever seen, now, if you're my age, you have. If you're younger, you may not have yet seen the movie Pretty in Pink, where, it's like in the 80s was very much known for materialism and things like that. And in the movie, she's out, looking at the mall and looking at some of these prices on these dresses. And it's like, oh my God, she knows there's no way she could ever afford anything like that. So, and then she sees these other girls that it's just like no problem for them, right? Because their families have their means, they have the resources, like no shade, right? So she kind of just, leaves that situation, kind of like, okay, I'll just have to figure out something else. Well, her dad comes in, and he's not exactly much help. He's suffering from depression, and it's, it's a very practical movie, honestly. Um, and he is like, here, I know these might not be exactly your style, but he's like, he knows she's talented. So he's like, here, maybe you can do something with this. But it's something that he knows she can do something with so that she can make it into, the dress of her dreams kind of thing. And, that nobody else is going to have also, right? And she ends, and then it's the big question of will she or won't she go to prom, right? So I won't ruin the ending for you if you've not yet seen Pretty in Pink starring Molly Ringwald. Okay, she is the main character of the movie. Alrighty, Three of Pentacles. Yes, you could be reconsidering contracts and thinking about who you want to be working with. And especially if you are somebody as resourceful as the Queen of Pentacles, you might have Virgo highly aspected in your chart as well. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, right? Queen of Pentacles. You know what I mean? It's like this. It's like, when somebody is like, oh, do you want to have somebody look over the contract? And you're like, yeah, that would be me. You know what I mean? And sure, maybe you might have to consult somebody about some legalese or some technical terms or something else, but otherwise you're like, no, actually that's, she's like, I'm it. What's that movie? Something Different. I really love that movie. The lady who she's like an accountant and then she gets involved with her landscaper. Okay. Anyway, and she's describing in the movie how she's like, yeah, she's like, I'll be, in these meetings and the client comes in and they're waiting for somebody else to be like, my superior or my backup or my, you know what I mean? Like that she has, and she's like, no, like I'm the one handling the account, so it's kind of like I feel like making some people reconsider, and maybe this is part of an image thing as well, where some people really, again, wanted to try and test you and test you and test you, and lo and behold, you might have had to have fucking surgery, but you still made it to class after that, and you still graduated college, and that dude's still an asshole. Some things don't change, right? You ever been told that? Don't try and change a person before you get hooked up with them in a relationship or marriage or any of those kind of things. Because trust me, because we all know how hard it is to change our own selves, right? How hard it is for me to, not want to have like 3 sodas a day. Okay. Let me tell you, I love my sugar. All right. Honey, honey. Okay. You're my candy girl. All right, what else we got here? Let's get one for the crown chakra. The Eight of Swords. Yeah, somebody that wanted you to be all in your head and you're just not. That's the energy. Yeah, Knight of Pentacles. You're just this is the grind. You're focused on the grind, not these superfluous things or people. For some of you, you're just like, what's that song? It's like, just another day. Just another day. Right? Isn't that a Beatles tune? Somebody's a Beatles freak out there that knows that. And so there could be other people like, well, that's not how it was supposed to work. Especially, see, there's, they got the liquor, they got the weapons. They're like, whoa, we thought we were gonna, and you're like, excuse me. Yeah. It's like a frisbee, right? Stop in the name of love. It is my dog's birthday this week, so in honor of dogs everywhere, the frisbee. She's turning 7 years old. Oh my. Anyway, yeah, which she was a rescue animal, you guys. I got her from a rescue shelter. When she came to the shelter, she had puppies, so they had to spay her, and that was part of the cost of, me obtaining her and getting her shots up to date and everything. And the puppies had all been adopted out because I wasn't really necessarily looking for a puppy at the time. Puppies are a lot of work. So, 3-year-old dog, and it's like, okay, okay. And then I kept seeing her on the website, and I'm like, oh my God, nobody's taking this dog yet. I'm like, oh my God. Because I'm still working my corporate gig, which, when your salary for them, for the man, it's a 24/7 operation, right? It's like, oh, that didn't work. Well, it's 2 a.m. We need somebody to make it work now. Who's on call? You are? Okay, good. That's why I'm paying you. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing here. Whereas you're like, you make your own luck, collective. And they're like, well, what? Well, that's how that, because I thought, and you're just like, no, I'm good. And you're so good, in fact, even like, because this is in the throat chakra here, you're like so good. You're like, yeah, I feel good. I feel fine. I ain't got, like my dad says, I don't have any problems. You know what I mean? Well, you know how couples are, sometimes when they don't say anything and then one thinks something, but one, and he would just put his hand like, I ain't got any problems. I didn't say anything. I don't got any problems. Right? But anyway. So leaving that on a light note. Yeah, it's focusing on the grind. Yeah, Virgo here. Happy birthday to the Virgos. Hermit energy. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why, once summer comes to a close and we return to school, because, we have less daylight outside. It's, the temperature cools down. It's easier to do projects inside versus outside, all these kinds of things, right? So, Yeah, I feel like collective, anything that might be draining for you, as long as you get your rest, plenty of rest, you're gonna be fine. Because that's how you got to this point to begin with, right? So, you know, remember, making the choice for yourself so that you have a good day, right? And somebody's like, "Oh, let's go hike this blah 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 that we've never done before, and we don't have the proper footwear, and we don't have none of this, none of that." And it's like, well, you ever see that South Park? He's like, "You're gonna have a bad time, okay?" Again, the skiing instructors like the Chad and Brad and Thad and Tad and Todd and Wad and Wad and Rad and Mad and Pad. Oh, anyway. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this reading and the brief story at the beginning. So, in case you're just catching this reading now, please go back and do catch the very beginning of the live where I go over the skiing story where we avoided complete disaster. Anyway, right? Jesus loves me. Yes, I know, because the Bible told me so. All right. I'm just saying, just because there might be some church people that, you know what I mean, are doing things for their own, doesn't, don't let that cause you to have a crisis of faith. Okay. That's why a lot of people don't go to these churches. That's why a lot of people don't believe in religion, because there's other people in there that are like, oh, you need to do it this way. You need to do it that way. Really? Because I see a lot of people out in the community doing way more Christian things, and they don't even hardly call themselves Christians. Just saying. So again, it's like this. Oh, well, did you see that dress they had on? And oh my God, wasn't that hat a little overdone? I don't know why she wears those red nails on Sunday. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody. Okay, if you're not literally hurting, like, to the it's all it is you're wounding their ego. Okay, you're wounding their ego. All right, and again, because it's like they can't even think for themselves. Right? So, this might cause you to see who you want to be working with and who you don't want to be working with. And, if you're trusting in, your higher power and your guidance, okay, from your guides, from God, from, how whatever spirituality system you choose to engage with, as long as you're engaging in a manner that's, trying to grow you and develop you in a upward in an upward way, upward moving way, right? You know, some people are so used to the bad news that they don't know how to accept the good news. All right. And that's why these people get jealous and stabby, right? Because they're like, because they gave up on themselves a long time ago. A long time ago, they gave up on themselves. Why? I don't know. That's for them to work out in therapy. For the rest of us, collective, you know what I mean? Because otherwise, you could spend, how many years some people spend in therapy and never figure it out? Do you want to be somebody's therapist, or do you want to say, well, actually, I'm not even getting paid for that job? You know what I just saw on Snapchat today? Some kind of nannies in England that get special training, and the nannies are make $200,000 a year. Child care workers raising children that make $200,000 a year. Anyway, yeah. So, until next time, collective, please do manifest wisely. Bye bye.